Hello, today we will be discussing Prodigy by Marie Lu. And let's start this book. I loved it, okay? I'll give this a 5-star. If you haven't read this, go read it. First read Legend, because that's actually the first book. It's amazing. I mean, if you do decide to read it, make sure you have like a week set aside, because you're not going to want to put it down. It's page turner, and it'll make you cry, but it'll make you laugh, and it's just wonderful. It just sucks you into the world and makes you feel as if you're actually there, and I love it. So this book basically starts off as June and Day are now work for the Patriots, which are planning to assassinate the new elector Aiden. The whole plan of this is for June to be captured. So June has to be arrested and taken to the Republic because their whole plan is she has to persuade Aiden this fake assassination plan to lead him to the real assassination. So June is arrested by Thomas, you know, the person who murdered her brother. I cried in that part because I loved her brother Matthias. I thought he was a great character, and then he died. And I read it during the New Year, just like I read this book. And basically I cried into the New Year. Again. Anyways, so Thomas and June are in this interrogation room, and Thomas is asking like, oh, why'd you go with Dave? Why'd you help him? Then June starts asking questions of her own. She's like, why'd you kill my brother? See, the whole scene for me was just emotional because I'm like crying and you're thinking about the book Legend and how he died. But then Thomas confesses. He said, I didn't want to kill Matthias, but the Republic gave me no other choice. But then this is my thing, is June and Day has sacrificed their lives to save people they care about. When Thomas can't even sacrifice his own, that just makes me think he's a coward because he says he had no other choice. The Republic told him to, but yes, you still have a brain. You are still a human being, and you could have not ordered to put your own life in danger. Because in Legend, Thomas says, you should still be careful what you're encouraging Messiah players to do, especially with your parents' gun. And now we know something is going on here. And see, now knowing this in Prodigy, he's basically telling Matthias that, hey, you're gonna be killed if you don't stop what you're doing, and you're gonna encourage your sister to continue. That if you weren't punishing her for rebelling in the school, wait till she gets out into the Republic and rebels. Consequences are so much greater. Because I don't think Matthias went and found out all that about Republic, not expecting there to be some grand consequences if someone found out. Then he probably decided to write those journals, so then June could find out about the Republic that way, then finding out there's some other place that could put her in danger, so then she could rebel against the Republic without putting her life in great danger of finding it out in the first place, because he has already found it out and he told her. And kind of then I think it's also his way of, hey, be smart here, because they rule us, and they will not be scared to end it. And in Legend, we see them at the ball, and Thomas kisses June. And so in Legend, I was thinking, okay, maybe he just likes her or something in some sick way after he just killed her brother. But then we find out Thomas killed Matthias. Matthias said, protect June. Make sure nothing happens to her. It was his last word. So Thomas thought if he could make June fall in love with him, he could persuade her not to go the same route her brother did, and therefore be able to protect her. Okay, now back to the Patriots and Day working with them. Day is in the Patriots underground kind of compound, and he sees a map, a world map, and he sees there are other countries out there than what the Republic says. Because up to this point, you think the only countries that really exist is the Republic, and what if you want to consider their colonies. The Republic has then brainwashing the people into believing they are the best, they are the highest in technology, when that's not even the case, and turns out Antarctica is actually the highest in technology. The Republic, who's brainwashing people thinking they're at the top, is actually probably near the bottom, technology-wise. And so we find out the Republic isn't as great as they persuaded to, and so you basically get a bigger picture on where the Republic stands compared to other countries. You think they're the top, but they're not. They're actually not doing as well as they want people to see. June is carrying out the assassination plan, so she basically has to warn Aiden, the new elector, about assassination plan, but saying a fake assassination plan to lead into the real assassination plan. So they're dining together, eating dinner, and the servant girl comes in, pours wine, and she spills it all over. It just goes everywhere, and you think Aiden's gonna like get up and start yelling at her and stuff, but find out he's very nice, he's understanding. And part of me wonders, okay, is this a decoy to throw us off to make us to trust him or not? Because see, one thing, like I said, I love about the writing style, it makes you feel what the characters are feeling. I know I can't trust Aiden, but yet after seeing that, I start feeling what June feels and starts to trust it. And so then you're kind of at war yourself between what you should feel and what you shouldn't feel. And then we find out Aiden went to Drake with June, and so that kind of where we find out that he has already kind of liked her. So then I kind of wonder, is he the boy that asked her to the Drake ball 2 years unsuccessfully? Because I mean, that would make sense, and I wish we find that out, and I kind of hope we find that out in Champion, because I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but I would like to know, is he the guy that liked June all through Drake? One thing that never made sense in the books are the ages. Throughout the book, June is 15 and Aiden is 20. But the problem is, it says June transferred to Drake when she was 12 years old, skipping sophomore year. But she skipped sophomore year, that would make her 13 as a junior. If she was a senior at 15, then there was some age skipped there. If she did not skip sophomore year, then she would be 15 as a senior. But since she skipped sophomore year, that would put her at 14. Aiden said he first saw her at Drake when he was 17, a sophomore, when she was 12 years old. So that would make a 5 years age difference. But that means Aiden would have graduated at 19, which putting Aiden and June in the same class. But Aiden is 20, and it also said that 20 years ago his mother died, so that would also support my theory if he is 20. But how can June be 15 if she skipped sophomore year? That means she skipped a whole year. It totally just throws off the ages, so all the ages are off by a year. I mean, if you have any more insight on this, maybe I skipped the details of it, please write in the comments below, because I'm actually kind of confused on this, because then what age are really characters? Because if June is 15, how could she be 15 a senior if she skipped sophomore year and was 12 years old when she transferred to college? And if Aiden is 5 years older than her, then that would put him at 20. And then June goes through this lie detector test, and then she says she starts seeing images. Part of me thinking, are these memories that some of these questions are bringing up? Or is this like Divergent? They're under like the simulator kind of thing? Because playing off of memories and emotions, then there's no way to beat this lie detector test. But then again, if it brings up false illusions, you could then ask, did you ever kill someone? And you could say no, but through a memory, it could bring out enough emotion to know that you were lying. And so basically, there's no way to win this lie detector test. I'm just panicking, like, oh my gosh, is a plan gonna stop? But somehow she gets through it, and then she even says, when they ask her question, do you still support the Republic? And she says yes. And so then you're like, wait, but the lie detector didn't go off. She even wrestles with it. Does she support it or not? I think she always did. I think there's a part of her that always supported it, because I think in the other book we find out she doesn't want the Republic to crash, but she wants it changed. So she does support it to a certain extent. All through the book, I was like really confused at one part, because the whole point of this assassination plan is to kill Aiden, the Elector, to start a new republic. If Aiden wants to change the republic and unite it as one again, then why is Razor wanting to kill him? And that's what I was questioning out through the whole book, because I'm like, this doesn't make sense, because Razor should know what Aiden is like. He works for him. So I was really confused at this point, but we find out later on Razor wants to kill Aiden. Because even Day has an experience where they're watching this film of June, but there's no sound coming out. He's like, oh, the Patriots must have wiped it out. Wouldn't like a bell go off your head and think, wait, maybe they're trying to hide something here? Because we find out later on that Razor is basically brainwashing the Patriots into believing something totally different than was reality. Razor started working for the Patriots, but then was caught. And the only way they said that he could redeem himself and like redeem him from his war crimes is if he kills Aiden, because Aiden stands for everything the Republic doesn't, because it turns out that the people that are in charge of the Republic is Congress, and they want to keep it the way the old Elector had it, but Aiden doesn't. So they want Aiden to be gone as Elector. So basically, Razor then brainwashes the Patriots into believing they're doing good and they're gonna restart the nation, start a revolution, when that's not even the case. It's just gonna lead you back to square one. But then again, he made Day kill the Elector. So is that to make him seem like a bigger criminal and a bigger reason why the state needs to kill him now and punish him? It was mind-blowing, because I mean, I suspected it all along, but I was never really sure. I laughed at the part when they reach the colonies and they see the TVs and they're like, wait, in the Republic, they made TV as about the military and everything else. Where these like selling merchandise. It's like they're from some smaller groups, different small groups. I'm like laughing because this is totally new to them. But before June and Dave realize that the Patriots aren't working for the colonies, I was questioning though, how could you then say you can't trust the Patriots, and how can you say you can trust the colonies? Because if they're working together, they're going to be on one side. So there's very few books where I can see it very vividly and just forget the surroundings I'm in and be fully engaged in this book. June is in that air fighter and she sees Katie and she describes the world just being in slow motion. I could totally picture that as she takes in her surroundings and everything is just in slow motion. Or then when Day is giving that speech on the Jumbotrons, everything is silent. And then people start to cheer and it grows louder and louder and louder. I could just feel the attention and the emotion, and I love how you basically feel like you're part of the book. And then in the last chapter of Day's perspective, we find out he's dying. And I bawl my eyes out. I'm just like, I'm done. I give up on this book. Don't you think they're gonna find happiness, or you think you know what's gonna happen? Plot twist, nothing is ever as I expect it to work out, and it really ticks me off. Because he just was reunited with his brother, and then he finds out he's dying. Well, I wonder, is that why he broke up with June? He knew she was gonna give up a light of great power to be with him who was just gonna die. And I start crying because the song Say Something by A Great Big World comes on my iPod, and I'm just reading this. I am bawling my eyes out because then it says we might not even see each other for 10 years. So I'm thinking, is this gonna result in the end of Champion? Is this gonna be like some big plot line? Because like I said, like we saw in the legend of what resulted in Prodigy, Thomas and June and everything, is this gonna be a storyline for Champion? Are they not gonna see each other on Champion? They can see each other a little. When she runs out of her apartment, it says his name, and then they kiss goodbye. I am crying my eyes out. And so I'm wondering, this has to be some setup for Champion. Something's gonna happen in Champion and I'm not gonna like it. Just by the ending of this book. Through this ending, I kept thinking of that song Run by Snow Patrol. What happens at the end of this book is gonna greatly determine what happens at the end of Champion. And I don't want to read that. I don't. I like the series. It's my top one, and I don't want it to go down because of the ending. Anyways, thank you for watching this. Please share your comments below because I am very interested to see what you have to say about this amazing book. I would give it 5 out of 5 stars. Who are your favorite characters so far? I'd have to say June is my favorite character. I actually wish I could be like her because she is honestly one of the most awesomest probably characters I've read. Thank you for watching this. Bye!